What are you reading?
This is the Lotus Sutra. This is a Buddhist text that I was interested in because Herbie Hancock talks about his practice of Nichiren Buddhism. So I started checking out the Lotus Sutra. It's very interesting. Very interesting. It really jives with a lot of stuff I've already thought about, like, or the ways I think about the world. You know, essentially, like, suffering's a given, but here's how you can endure it, and you have an infinite capacity as a human to endure it. Like their whole thing is like the lotus flower, which blooms in muck and mire and swamps and poop. You know, if that's life, then you can still be beautiful and blossom, even in the midst of all the shit.
How you doing? I saw you front row.
The flower that's born from the Spanish concrete.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you read about? Have you read Ramdas?
For what?
Have you read Ramdas?
Richard
Richard Alpert. He was a Harvard psychotherapist who went to India and lost himself and changed his name to Ramdas. And he showed that there was an intellectual, and he saw this guru, and he thought, I'm not gonna fall for this guy. This guy's so up his own arse.
This is hippie shit. This is not for me.
Yeah, it's not for me. I'm this intellectual guy. He had a plane, he had the car, he's being paid tons of money, right? He shows up at the place. 5 minutes later, he's at the feet of this guru, touching his feet and praising him.
I believe it.
And he loses himself. And he was the creator of the. He was the first user of LSD as a therapeutic drug to open the mind of people. So him and Timothy Leary were best friends, and they used it as a device. So what I found is through life there tends to be an experience that happens that molds you as a human, or makes you adapt or makes you grow. Do you have one of those?
I think I'm going through it right now. I just learned to cry again.
Wow.
So, and not even learning to cry out of a way of emotional release instead of like trauma. But because I've had struggles with anxiety and depression, you know, like, and it's like that stuff has to get out somehow, and I wasn't letting it out. I wasn't even paying attention to it. I was just kind of like pushing it down instead of like really feeling it, because, you know, to me crying feels like you're like throwing up emotionally. I hate throwing up, and so to cry was just like, it was just abhorrent to me. I was just like, oh, I don't want to do that. This feels like I'm losing control. This feels like this is not me. I'm not a crier. I'm a stoic, and I put my nose to the grindstone and get the stuff done. But like once I started crying more, I started smiling. I started crying a lot, but I smile even more. So it's like, and just at anything, not from like trauma, from missing my girlfriend, from missing my parents, from watching like a sad cat video, from watching like a spoken word about kids getting bullied or something. Like I just let myself feel it now, you know. So that's like any one event that's like shaped and molded me. I don't know. It's super hard to pin that down, especially right now. Just like we just played a show, I've had a little wine, and just like I can't really pin down an event, but I know I'm in the middle of a transformational thing. I started meditating, started reading about Buddhism, you know, started focusing on being happy instead of accomplishments and stuff.
Well, so I've got major depressive disorder. I'm a sufferer since I was like 12, 13, so like 10 years at this point. I didn't seek help.
What are you, 23? 22?
22.
I'm 24.
So same sort of deal, I guess. And I didn't seek help because that was the weak thing to do in my brain. Yeah. Now I know, not at all. But that was sort of my family. I don't know if it's a very Celtic thing, but it's a very, I don't know, sort of, you don't feel like you can adapt in that way or gain emotion in that way. And then I sort of just worked really hard at it and lost all expectation and all wants and sort of ego of a situation. And I just sort of learned to breathe again and just be in the now.
You learned to breathe again?
Yeah.
I learned to breathe again too. I learned to take actual breaths.
Yeah.
Breathe. It's so funny. I was like, why am I so happy when I play my horns? Because you're breathing to the diaphragm with your horns. You're putting yourself, you're not taking the short breaths that encourage like the fight or flight response. You're breathing to the diaphragm, You're breathing with all your muscles. That's it. Breathing through the nose, and then meditating. That's a huge part of what I do. Vipassana, the focusing on the breath as it enters and leaves the nostrils. I learned to breathe again too. Nobody's breathing correctly, and nobody tells us.
I did Vipassana for a couple of years, and then I went to mantra, and then now I'm in sort of a middle ground, which is just the experiences are constant. So I'm constantly in that zone of just that.
I want to get there.
Constant vibration. But that took years and years. I mean, I started meditating by accident when I was about 7 years old.
Oh shit.
Because I used to get really stressed out and really, I was a lot of pent-up energy. And now because I sing and I play instruments and I paint and stuff, all that energy's out there. When I was little, what I found was the only way to deal with the situation when I was too stressed out was to zoom from my exact point out into the country, out into the planet, out into the solar system, out into the universe, and then zoom back in.
Cosmic perspective.
And realise it's not important. And I was doing that when I was like 7.
That's amazing.
And then I did that. I still do it now because it's a really easy way of leveling yourself. And now I'm a strong believer that all that stuff should be taught in, like, I guess for you it's kindergarten, for us it's nursery, but like from your child up, it should be there. It should be an hour a day.
It should be mindfulness. It should be. We should. I was just talking. This is so crazy. I was just talking to my girlfriend about this. We should absolutely be teaching everyone mindfulness. Whether you connected to a religion or not, we should be teaching mindfulness and teaching people how to identify, because so much of this stuff, it's such a huge win, and I'm pretty new to it. I think I've probably been meditating every day for maybe a month. You know, I'm pretty new to it, doing what I can, really paying attention to it. But just putting a finger on the emotions or on what you feel is a win. You're winning. You have identified. You're not just blindly angry, or you're not just blindly hurt. You're not just blindly sad. You know what's going on, and if you can put your finger on it, then you can look at it like it's a chair, like it's just this chair, and you can just look at it with the same indifference as if, you know, it's non-arising, it's not existing. It's just you haven't imbued this chair with the essence of anxiety. It's just a blue chair. Same way we can look at feelings. We're just the sky, and the feelings are just clouds. You know, that's it, man.
I view it as weather patterns.
That's wild.
I think we're about to head out.
Oh yeah, are they down there?
Yeah.
And there's a little wine right here. Very, very small amount.
I'm gonna take a little shot of wine.
Take that shot of wine.
That's how you do it.
Smallest one.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
Sorry, this is for kids. Don't let them hear this part.
No, you keep it in. No. Keep it in. Yeah. Keep it in. It's fine.
Hey kids, if you want to learn how to drink really fast, it's called shots.
Shots.
So this was
You know, I did my 25 today. We probably got cut short, and the bands are here.
Yeah,
is that cool?
Fine. That's fine.
Hey,
this
all right.
showed me how to
This is Albert Allen back from Tank and the Bangas.
Like this.